Get you to stand for just a moment for the flag salute, please. The flag we have is right here in front of the podium. I'll lead the salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Lion Maryland, would you please come forward? You may sit down.
Let's just stand.
Okay, please stand. I'm sorry.
Maryland rule.
Do it again.
Please join me with the singing of America.
Country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims bright, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Now you may sit down. Thank you. Visitors we have. You're all distinguished, for crying out loud. But I'll do my best to at least recognize some of the folks that are working. Working? Is it working?
Yep.
Great. Our first visiting dignitary is past Council Chair Hal Palmer. And next to him is past District Governor Doug Hall. Over my right, District Governor Monty Ward. And his lovely wife Ann. And first Vice District Governor Bill Karcher. Also have a couple. Well, I'm not finished. Please, thank you. I have two past district governors in the audience. One is Crawford Spence, past district governor Crawford.
Hey, Crawford.
And past district governor Steve Patterson. And directly to my left is my lovely wife and director of the Pioneer Club, Dolly Harvey. What a great night it is tonight. I mean, this is the first time, in my experience, that we had the opportunity to combine a zone meeting with an anniversary. And tonight, of course, is Wahkiakum's 50th anniversary. And what other anniversary do we have coming up in a very short period of time? Well, that's right. LCI's 100th anniversary, 2017. It's just around the corner. So what a great night this is going to be. Here we are tonight to celebrate Lionism. Anybody ever tried to define what Lionism is? I have a short poem by Mr. William Ward, who in 4 lines I think best describes what Lionism is. Now, this poem isn't necessarily directed for lions, but I think it fits, so I'm going to read it to you. Spread your arms to those with need, and serve with joy and zest. Fill each day with golden deeds, and give your very best. That's Lionism to me. Now tonight we're celebrating 50 years of the Wahkiakum Club. Can anybody here stand up and say they were a charter member? I understand that there are still 2 living charter members. But what were you doing in 1966? Do you remember what you were doing in 1966? I remember what I was doing. First half of 1966, I finished my 2nd year in college, and I started my 3rd year in 1966. I was 20 and unmarried at that time. Anybody else? Now, if you talk about LCI, I don't think there are any charter members. As a matter of fact, 4 years ago when I was president of the Pioneer Club, we celebrated our 90th. I asked the same question, and nobody responded. So, you just need to realize, I think you all do, that life is very short. In 50 years' time, a lot of the people that started the Wahkiakum Club are no longer with us. In the 90 years for the Pioneer Club, there are none left. And we know that probably within the next 40 years, most of us are not going to be here either. So age is really important. Someone asked me once, have you ever realized any of your childhood hopes? And I said, well, my mother used to comb my hair all the time, and I wish that I was bald. We do have a full agenda tonight, and I don't want to take up time with my banter. And so I'd like to have the president of the Wahkiakum Lions. Carol, are you here? Can you please join me up here? Can you join me up here, please? At this point in time, I'm going to turn the podium over to Carol, president of the Wahkiakum Lions.
I'm glad to see everyone here tonight, and thank you for coming. Right now I want to thank everybody, those Kelso, Longview Kelso Early Birds and the Pioneer Club, and for gifts that they gave. There's a 50-pound sack of onions over there. I want everybody to take one home with them because I don't know what we're going to do with 50 pounds of onions.
Who brought that? Pioneer brought that. And the basket.
I'm going to give a little bit of history about our club. We started selling fireworks, and we had a concession stand. Now, don't ask me what kind of concession stand we had. I have not heard. They just said a concession stand. And I also know that the calendars that we use as fundraiser started that same year because this year was our 50th edition. There were 18 charter members, and there are 2 of them alive. Hobart Thacker, who's in Frontier Nursing Home, and Paul Spears, Jr., I don't know which club he's with. Pioneer? Oh, okay. Those 2 members, charter members, are still alive. I'm sorry that neither one of them can be here tonight. We talked with Wes Whittle, who's joined the club in 1974, and he said at that time when he joined there were 62 members. Well, this one passes away, this one moves away, so we don't have all those members anymore. We are like 12 now. Sid Parker was our first secretary, and he was secretary 32 years. He started as secretary, and Tom Hall was our president the first year, 50 years ago. Wes Whittle and his wife Margaret joined in 74, and Wes said that he and Margaret and Sid and his wife Mary never missed a multiple district convention, which is saying quite a bit. I know I haven't made multiple district, all those conventions. Mary Parker, Sid's wife, was one of the persons who cooked the meals for our clubs each time we met, and we met at the Skamakawiggwick Grange Hall, or at least the best I know. And She was also one of the persons who cooked the meals when we had zone meetings out there. Chuck Parker, would you like to say a little bit about the club?
Carol stole most of what I had.
Oh, sorry.
When I came in the club, it was kind of ordained that I was going to be here because Dad was there. My younger brother Mike, who most of you know, drives a sight and hearing band, and my brother-in-law, Jack Coonan, were at the door when I got my retirement pay in the Air Force. And so, very quickly, in fact, one of the pictures I wrote tonight, it shows Mike and myself and my brother-in-law in the car with me, and I didn't know who I was, considerably skinnier and a whole lot more hair. So, as far as the club goes, it's been a joy. We do things that probably all of you do in one form or another. I don't know when we started our first missionary run, but I know a lot of you guys do. And we used to go, even Kath and I went to the park from top of the hill. And one of the memories that I had there was, one of our members, his name was Floyd Owen. He was a physically short fella, more energy than should be legal. And he loved to get in that rabbit suit and go out there and work those kids. And he squatted down in front of the little kid that was probably 4, I guess, perhaps, said something to him, and hey, and that kid's eyes got that big around. And he said, "There's people in there." I saw that, I just couldn't believe it. We moved the egg hunt to just apartments to Mopler, and they had some mold down here. We never came back. More rooms. The only thing is there's not many places to hide eggs. The kids go through the night. How many did we put out last year? How many dozen?
130 dozen?
130 dozen. Real eggs. Yeah, real eggs. And they prize different age groups, prize eggs. The guys that go on crow patrol, because once you get those eggs out there, then crows will take them in a minute. And we had one guy, that's why he came to the thing. He wanted to be on crow patrol. And we do have, I do know.
Where on this do you want them to go and get their cake? We can do it right after this if you want.
In the park with their graduates, just with that egg hunt. You couldn't advertise mine better. And we're not really sort of just having a good time. And I think that's half of what most of us look for. There was when Hurricane Katrina went through the Gulf Coast, I think it's Katrina, sometimes it gets hurt. But they did away with a lot of things in New Orleans. And one fellow came up here from New Orleans.
That's true.
Ended up in
I forgot that.
In one of the clubs.
I had forgotten that.
He said when he got out of his house, when that hurricane was done, the only thing he saw was people in yellow vests and yellow jackets helping people. And wow.
Yeah.
I've been a member 35 years, 36 years, and Dad was a member until he just couldn't do anymore. And after Mom passed away, he sort of lost his will, but he was blind. Thank you.
Oh. Okay. I think I've come to the end of what I want to talk about. I want to tell you that there is anniversary cake back there. Please go back and get a slice of the cake. You've got time right now to go do that if you'd like.
So at this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to past Council Chair Hal Palmer, who's going to talk about Lions Clubs International and the upcoming centennial celebration.
Mike looks better than Chuck. What is it? Chuck looks better? Okay. All right. We'll be sure to share that with Mike. First question I have is, what is Lions Clubs International to you? You have an answer?
It's the spot where everybody goes to get information
Okay.
about the Lions.
Place to go get information about Lions. Anybody else? What is Lions Clubs International? Now, Bob, you've been a senator, what, 57 years, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Bob and I met when we were 6, so that's how I know that. Was it 13, right? Actually, it was 13. What's Lions Clubs International to you? You got an answer, I know that. Yeah. Giant service organization. When we define the word giant, what does giant mean? Largest in the world. I want you to think about that for a minute. I'm going to use the term Little Wahkiakum Lion. Is part of the biggest organization in the world. Isn't that amazing? You have all a club in a community this size has access to everything a bigger club has access to. Now, if you think about your club, what tools are you not using? Better question, what tools do you not know about? Yes. Did you know there's over 21 approved programs of Lions Clubs International? 21. And there's usually 1 or 2 added every year. Who's eating chocolate? Hey, stop. Who's eating chocolate? I bet George was on that first presentation with you too. Right, George? Back in 78? Probably. So happy 50th Wahkiakum. Every club in Lions Clubs International has access to hundreds of tools. Let's talk about one tool. The Lions Clubs International Convention. How many here have actually been to a convention? Lions Clubs International. Okay. So we're at about 25%. So now I'm speaking to the other 75%. Okay? You've been there, you've seen it. You've stood on the corner and somebody from India asked you to trade a pin. They wanted your hat, right? This time in Japan, I traded my hat for this cool Japanese kimono that you can see on the front cover of the Lions Clubs magazine that just came out. It was funny because I went to the first guy to trade my hat, and he said, "Oh no, kimono." The guy next to him says, "Hey, I can get another one of those. How else would I get a hat from Washington State?" I got to tell you, in each of the clubs, I've made a friend with you over the years. You know? And I cherish those friends. I cherish those friends that I made across the border. I cherish that friend I made that night in Ethiopia. And that's the pin I'm wearing tonight on top. When we were picking up our 2 grandkids from Ethiopia. We got to go to a charter night at the campus Lions Club. And I still hold that feeling dear to me. When the Ethiopians did what? They would say, how many remember? Whenever you said something, like I stood up and I said, I'm from Longview, Washington. The Ethiopians would go, This is their way of expressing appreciation. So you're going to join it with me now. Can you say it? On the count of 3, 2, 1. That's it. And then I said, wait, our club had at that point we had 160 members, and they said, yes. You know, it still gives me chills even when you do it, because it brings back those memories of that day there. And what was magic about that particular club, it was formed by a Muslim woman professor and a Christian male professor. They went together and they said, what is the organization that will teach our kids leadership? They researched it. They came up with the answer, Lions Clubs International. And I got to tell you, many of you know I went to Japan, and many of you helped me and my wife get there because, you know, it's expensive and it's getting to Japan. Yeah. We got the cheap flight at $1,500 a piece. I saw people pay $3,000 for the airplane round trip. That's cool. And we didn't have to buy Spirit Airlines, by the way. We flew Air Canada. You know the airplane here flew Spirit Airlines? Yeah, it's interesting. Did you like those swing back seats?
I hated the 40-pounders.
I know it. What I hated the most is that when I told my kids about it, I said, yeah, that seat goes back 2 millimeters. So when they get home, they said, Dad, it didn't go back at all. And I said, yeah? What's the difference between that and 2 millimeters? But in Japan, we were able to see a number of people that were awesome in what they had done. Our first speaker was a gentleman who won a Nobel Peace Prize for helping find reducing slavery in Africa. Did you know that there's over 50 million or more people that are in slavery right now? Isn't that amazing? When he gave us these stats, we're all going, really? I talked to a police officer yesterday. You know what he said? There's slavery going on in one of these Delta right now. How would any of us see that? How would we? You know? And he had arrested some of the people, and he just knows some people coming to replace him. What?
I know how they get there.
Yeah. In slavery?
Yeah, they get on the ship.
That's right. Coming to the ships. When I was in the state senate, we put together this VECA bill primarily to protect 12-year-old girls in the state of Washington. You know? And you think about it, at that point I had a 13-year-old daughter. We're passing this bill to protect 12-year-olds, and I'm sitting there going, wow, this is the state of Washington? If you would have heard that discussion up in Olympia about what that girl had gone through, you'd probably go up here tonight. So I'm not going to tell you what she went through. But the end of the story is that she was found dead in the Spokane River. You know? At 13. It is amazing. I talked to that father saying, how can we keep this from happening? The truth is, if we see it happening, we've got to turn it in. That's the truth, isn't it? This same thing is going on in tens of thousands, tens of hundreds of countries around the world right now. And that, to me, still is mind-boggling. There are not many organizations. In fact, Lions Clubs International is going to be connecting with one of the organizations to help solve this problem. Second question I want to ask you about is, what would you have done if you had not been invited to Lions Clubs, your Lions Club? What would you have done? You know? Prophet, I think you and I are in the same boat. They wouldn't have us. Yeah. But think about that. Chuck, how many years ago did you get in this club? 36 years. Would you say that you did at least 10 hours of service each year? How about 100? You don't think so? Well, 100 would be like 10 hours a month.
I never thought figured it out.
Well, think about that. What's the value of this 10 hours a month? If the minimum wage bill passed, the value is $150. One of the districts actually calculated the number of service hours done in their particular district up in Canada. They can put hours together, and that put the value in dollars at $1.5 million. Just in service hours. Think about that. Isn't that amazing? Any of our clubs, this zone, I would guess, knowing what this zone has done over the last years, it could be easy $500,000. It might even reach the $1 million. So, future. What happened in Japan was that I was asked to step back as an international director for 1 year, which means that if I keep my nose clean and Billy Bush doesn't record anything I say, wait a minute, Dwayne's got a lot of me on recordings, that I have a very high probability of being elected an international director in Chicago. I would like you to think about going there. You've never been to one before. This is the convention to go to. This is the one. This is the one where you'll see people from all over the world. You'll find different programs you might want to consider for your club. You will find speakers who are going to knock your socks off. And for those of us that are getting long in the tooth, maybe it will inspire us to do more. I want to leave with a question. Who are you in line? Clubs International.
District Governor Monty, would like to say a few words?
Just a couple. I do have an award I would like to present tonight. President Carroll, could you come in? One of the things Lions has been doing the last couple of years, year and a half or 2 years or so, is Centennial Service Challenge. And I am happy to say our district is 75% participating in this. But I've been, in my newsletter this month, I challenged all our clubs why we can't do 100%. There's no reason that I know of all the clubs I've seen in our district, that they can't participate in one phase or 2 phases of a Centennial Service Challenge. It's very easy. I think International made it that way. I'm happy tonight to present the Wahkiakum Club with a 3-gym banner patch, and that means they participated in 4 of the Centennial Service Challenges. And if you're curious as to what 4 they are, here you go. They are vision, hunger, environment, and youth. Now she's got 3 gyms down here. That means their club participated in 3 of those challenges. I did not look today before I came. I meant to. I don't know which one that you didn't participate in, but at least you got 3 out of the 4. I'm very happy to present that to you, and I hope we can do 4 next year. How's that?
I hope so too. Thank you. Thank you.
One of the other things I have is Monarch Chevron Awards. I know most people here probably know what a Monarch Chevron Award is, and they start at 10 years and they go every 5 years thereafter. So in Wahkiakum, I have 2 10-year Monarch Chevron Awards, one for Mr. Gary Michael Backman, club pin and it just pinches up underneath there. Okay. So you can wear that. The other 10-year Monarch chevron is for Mrs. Martha L. Blackman.
Is she even listening?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to listen.
I think I'll walk over there. So, after these awards, I did last Wednesday, for those of you that don't know, I did go up to Seattle. I did get to see the international president again. We sat down along with the rest of the multiple district that showed up, and we had dinner at the Daily Grill. And he spoke to us for a few minutes, and then asked for questions. And then he did tell us that as an organization, Lions Club International is nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. But he also cautioned us, we're not the only organization. But just to get nominated, I think, is a great honor for all of us. So I think that is a feather in everybody's cap. Wherever there's a lion, we really did something good. So I'm going to let Doug have this back. And happy 50th, Wahkiakum.
Thank you, Mr. District Governor. Vice District Governor, would you like to say a few words? I know you're good at that.
I learned from you. My name is Bill Karcher. I'm out of the little club in Vancouver. It's called Vancouver Dawn. We meet for 1 hour every Tuesday at 7 and leave at 8. Business, good luck. Mostly talk. Anyway, I've been a Lion for 38 years, working on 39 years. I know a lot of you, and a lot of people I actually come from a lot of different areas, and I'm looking forward to next year to working with you and being your district governor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move to our Centennial Celebration Legacy Project, and it's going to be discussed tonight by past District Governor Doug Hall. Doug, if you step forward, please.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to start by congratulating the Wahkiakum Club on their 50th. What an amazing feat for clubs to get that far. It's great. And also thank you, those who prepared the meal. Wasn't it great? Okay. I wanted to cover a couple things. Centennial Service Challenge. It's amazing. And you heard Hal talk about some significant numbers and the things that we do. Our Centennial Service Challenge started out with a goal of serving 100 million. And I don't know, that sounds an awful lot through what we're going. But we remember when it came time to plant trees, what we did with that. Remember that? That goal went down really fast. We went right over that. So in September, I had some figures where we had surpassed the 100 million people served already. And we still have a year and a half to go. So it's going to be just phenomenal on what we do. Right now, we are sitting on just a little over 112 million people served. And that, if you think about those numbers, it boggles your mind. I don't know how many of you follow this, but I know, and I just updated some figures with our district governor, and I'm looking for those because I wrote them. Oh, here they are. When I was talking in September, only 61% at that time were engaged in our service in this challenge. So at that time, there was over 25,000 clubs that had engaged in youth. And right now, those clubs and some more are over 36 million served. That's in the youth, and you think about that, you know. It's amazing. I've been in Lions for about 25 years now, and I served with Lions for about 7 years before I joined. And I was involved in youth projects and stuff at that time. It's just amazing. Protecting the environment, we're well up over 20,000 clubs, and we're up over 33 million served in that area. Sharing vision, which is what we really do. We're well up over 20,000 clubs that have engaged in that, and we're up over 17 million served. And in the hunger, the relief with hunger, we're over 20,000 clubs also in that, and we are over 24 million served in that. So you can just see what we're doing. I look at these figures a lot, being your chairman. I see the same figures that our district governor sees. And how many of you have access to those figures, that have seen these figures? Do they come to the clubs? Oops. How do we get that to the district governor? How do we get that to our clubs? Is that something you pass along in your newsletter?
I hope so. Okay.
Because those figures are staggering. They are to me. And you know, I want to also congratulate the Wahkiakum Club on meeting those Centennial Service challenges that you did. Congratulations. That's really what we're about. The thing I want to talk about is the legacy projects. How many of you, I'm going to just hold this up, have seen or been online and looked at the legacy challenges and the levels, 1, 2, and 3? A few hands going up. This is where you can find out what these legacies levels are, because there's things that you can do if you're a small club, large club, several clubs combining, and I know we have some of those going on. You're doing a great job. So I put together this, and also ways to celebrate. How many people have seen this? Ways to celebrate online, and you know, these things are there. Just a show of hands, how many people or Lions here have gone to lions100.org at Lions International? It's amazing. We have 61% or more clubs involved, and I know you're involved. But what this will give you, and I'm going to give these to Chairman Doug here. I put one of these together for each club, and you can pass that out, or they can pick them up afterwards, or you can do that. You know who those people are. But it does. It gives you the levels, and it gives you ways to celebrate. Ways to celebrate, lead through service, invite for impact, and connect with your community. And that's what we need to do there. So I'm trying to keep this short, and that's why I put those together, because I can spend a lot of time on those, but you can also read it. You can go online and print it out for yourself. The other thing that we're doing, and we're going to kick this off in October, probably by the next newsletter that comes out. How many of you have significant exposure to the community on some of the projects that you're doing? I mean, you're involved with the community is seeing you, you're wearing your Lions vests and shirts and all this type, hats and this type of thing. This is where the community really gets in touch. You know, I've been in sales all my life, and it's insight in mind. So if you're seeing an emblem out there, you're seeing a Lions Club code, anything that you wear, any clothing and whatnot, or any paraphernalia you might have that's Lions and you're out there, they know what this is. There's only one time that somebody looked at my Lions, I was in the bank and they looked at my Lions pin, they said, well, are you a longshoreman? You know, and I'm going, no, I'm not. Guess what? I had a couple of conversations with him, told him what we were doing, and he became a Lion. So it's important that you realize that the community knows what Lion's emblem is, and they respond to it. So we're going to put together a visitation guide for our clubs. So I don't know if Doug, you might have already talked to him about this, I'm not sure, but the most important and the events that you're doing, or going to be doing, especially during the centennial, our last centennial year, we want to get those on a calendar so that every club knows what the other clubs are doing. Wouldn't you like to have an extra 5, 10, 20, maybe 50 Lions show up at one of your events? Wouldn't that just dazzle the community if we did that? It's not that hard to do, but it's hard to do if we don't know what's going on. So we're going to put that together, and that's the last thing I wanted to mention to you. Look forward to it. How many of you read the district newsletter? See, it does get out there. All right. You read it too? Good job. Thank you very much, and I look forward to helping and doing everything I can to make our Lions Centennial year this upcoming one of the greatest things, because it's only going to happen once, folks. I don't know, that 200 one comes around, I'm not going to be here. I don't know about you folks, but I'm not going to be here. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. Good name. And now we're going to go into the officer reports. President Russ from Castle Rock. Are you here? I know I saw you. You want to come up here? Can you hear him all right?
I appreciated hearing that last speaker. He starts the report with membership. First thing I'd like to report is that 6 of our current members have come to us as a result of our love serving them in the community. We already have 31 members. All of our dues international and D19. Our several projects in the first quarter. At our Castle Rock food bank, we use 558 man-hours. Locally, we serve 79 families per week. Each family has an average of 4.2 members, so 80 times 4 is what? And our population is 2,000. So at least 10% of our community is being served in the food bank. Donations we received $612 plus food, and a great many of our donations comes through the Castle Rock Historical Association. Site hearing, we made our first 750. We spent 140 million which got the children at the petting zoo. That's really something that they love for there. We manned the health screening van for 12 hours, and I was really impressed by that van. Those of you that haven't seen it really should take that opportunity. For fundraising projects, 532 man hours went into this paper recycling. That's an environmental project that comes back, and that's proceeds into the club. We made $2,385 while protecting the environment. Our fireworks sale while damaging the environment. We spent 140 more man hours. And that profit was 2,900. But I want you to know that in the past, we had paid for fire protection equipment. One project that's hard to categorize is working at the rest stops. We don't know whether to call that a fundraising project because we get donations, or a service project because many people come up and thank the Lions Club for being there and helping them stay awake. We made $318 in our last restaurant. Charitable expenditures for 2016, first quarter again for youth. We paid out 3,000 scholarships, and because of our community support, next year it was 4,000. We donated 250 to the kids' closet, and the Lions Club, our club, put in $764 into the food bank. Our total service hours during the first quarter were 1,586. I told them I wouldn't roll my hour, but I will. She's my wife and the treasurer. She said, Russ, you don't have to tell them that you serve on the board of a nonprofit. Columbia Wellness. You can simply tell them that the club member did. But out there on the truck, and I said, that's wonderful. Not wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, President Russ. From the Climate Club, President Tawny, or is it going to be Kathy? Kathy?
For the July-September, we have 31 members now.
Try this.
Here's the portable one.
Go ahead.
Okay, we have 31 members now. 634 hours were donated by our members and volunteers for fundraising. Both international and MD-19 dues are paid. For fundraising, we focus on paper recycling. That's ongoing all the time. We do garage sales, the climate fair. We do monthly bingos. And we are fundraising for the County Sight and Hearing Foundation Friday. Service support to our community is the Climate Food Bank. We collect eyeglasses and hearing aids to recycle. We deliver food to the elderly, and we assisted the Longview Pioneers in providing a health screening unit at the Cowlitz County Fair. We've donated roof for the food bank building, the Cowlitz County Sight and Hearing Foundation, wheelchair railing we have built, one scholarship we've paid for and one is pending still. We do for the foster care Luggage of Love and the veteran stand down. This is our visitation is here, that our goal is to do one a month. And of course, we're going to take part in the Centennial Project Planning and the Site and Hearing fundraiser. We're doing Friday, and we're doing a garage sale on the 28th of this month again. And the Site and Hearing van is going to be at the Klamath Elementary School in November. We'll be doing walk and knock, collecting food for the food booth. We do Christmas baskets for the people that are alone in Klamath. We do road cleanup, and we are hosting the April zone meeting. And we've got 2 rest stops planned for in 2017.
How many hours did you say again?
Donated hours?
Yes.
634 hours donated by members and volunteering. Thank you.
Did you give me a copy of this?
Huh?
Did you give me a copy of the report?
I don't know. You can have this one though.
I'll take it.
And President Mary from Council Club. President Mary?
I'd also like to wish the Wahkiakum Lions happy birthday and congratulations on 50 years. All of our dues are paid, and I don't know our membership numbers. I think they're probably about 35 or 40 and more. We just approved another member last night. We have, for the last quarter, we participated in newspaper recycling. We did a rough stop. We have another one planned. We also participated with the early birds in the health screening van. We did National Night Out at Camo-Shamter Park. We gave popcorn away. We were having a hard time keeping up with everybody. Getting popcorn on National Night Out. Next year we plan on having more, and we gave out popcorn and water. Ran out of water in I think about the first 30 minutes or so. Football season is in full swing, and we again sell popcorn there as fast as we can make it, along with nachos and all sorts of other good stuff. Thank goodness we completed another year of berry sales. I think we finally have it down. I don't know how many years we've been doing this, but now we have it down. So we have the parking lot, so people just go right in. They don't get out of their car. We just put the berries in their trunk and they go away.
They're still frozen too.
They're still frozen too. It works great, but it took us several years to get it down. But we've got it now. We participated in the Highlander Parade. We decorate our newspaper trucks. This year, for the first time, we did a breakfast, pancake breakfast at the Highlander Festival, and we plan on doing more of those next year and have food all day and probably for both days instead of just one day. We participated in a park cleanup. We have these eyeglasses, as we all know, it's an ongoing thing. Total line hours that we have for last quarter are 692, and we have on this report that we served 240 people, but I know we served more than that. But anyway, that's the number that's down here. Thank you.
Next we go to the early birds, and the President Pat.
1,808 hours on 22 projects or fundraisers this quarter. And I'd just like to highlight 4 of them. One is we sponsored the health screening van, and 8 out of the 9 clubs in our zone participated in that. So thank you so much for the support. Another thing we did was we bought school supplies and donated them to Red Canoe. They were trying to build a canoe. So we go to Walmart and buy tons literally, of notebooks. So it's a lot of weight because they match pounds each. And so we buy the heaviest school supplies we can find. We also participated participated with the Kelso Club in the Kelso Train Depot cleanup, and that's kind of a fun project, and then we have pizza afterwards. And the thing I think I'm the most proud of that our club does is we sponsor a blind walking team that walks from Portland to Seaside. And we give them money, we bought them lions, there are little flasher things that they have to have on their vests at night when they walk, because they walk, there's 12 people on the team and they walk from Portland until they get to Seaside, there's no breaks. And then we had 4 of our members that volunteered along the route to help do things that needed to be done. And they had potluck this last Saturday, 4 of us attended that. And it was really inspiring to hear some of the things that they talked about that they got out of this. So that was, I think, the most rewarding thing that our club has done this month. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pat. Also, I'd like to thank your club for sending in an article and some photographs for our newsletter. And I encourage all the clubs, if you have something going on, you want it in the newsletter, send me a picture and a short article. I'll make sure it gets in there, because I do it. Okay, we'll go to Monticello. You're going to do it, Neil? Okay.
Declan George is in Chicago tonight, so he couldn't make it. But I'll do the best I can. I'm the treasurer, Neil Zimmerman. And I appreciate some of your secretaries, and when it talks about the number of hours that you put in for the club, that's easy. When it comes to people served, you get kind of creative. If you're collecting newspapers, how many people do you serve on a Monday morning when you pick up papers? But the easy one is the rest stops, and we do this also besides collecting papers. And all you have to do is count the cups. That's kind of cool. That's the best figure we've got for people served. During this last quarter, we continued again our newspaper collection ongoing. We've got 19 members in our club. They keep kind of leading by attrition, and we're not doing real well about packing the crowd in again, but we're doing the best we can. We did have 2 trees planted on our behalf for a centennial project in Sacagawea Park, Lake Sacagawea Park. We participated in the mobile screening unit on the fairgrounds, and that was really fun, interesting. Meet some interesting people coming through. I'm sorry we weren't more busy, for goodness sake, but that was a good trip. We have a Beacon Hill Road sign, but that says we clean that place up twice a year. You guys have noticed this, but it's not hard to do. If you want a couple people who want to do this, but like to get into the trash and hypodermic needles, it's kind of fun. Under leadership, we had 2 members attended a new officer training session. We've got 1 man that works on the local St. Herring Foundation, Cowles County Foundation, for eyeglass recycling and eyeglass, eyes and ears and everything else. Do a great job, and that's a real zone project, by golly, isn't it? Yeah. We had 2 brand new Fords that we entered into the 4th of July parade and gave away 100 pounds of candy, something like that. And our trailer now is at Millennium Bulk. And incidentally, I got a letter from NORPAC saying they're no longer affiliated with Weyerhaeuser. Maybe some of you saw that. They are NORPAC. And that's where the money comes from now. And I hope it continues. It remains to be seen. So I guess that's all I have. Thank you. Oh, no, I don't. Wahkiakum, congratulations. Happy birthday.
You have a copy for me? Thanks, Neil. You got a special award for the district governor who visited you that only 2 of the district got for planting a tree, and I don't know the details. I just asked the district governor who presented to you, and he couldn't recall exactly what it was called. Do you remember what it was?
Well, it was part of our centennial celebration. Yeah. That's what I thought.
But those are a special award that you got. The only 2 clubs, and here's a small club, it's really a great deal.
Yeah.
Are you sure? The district got it. The legacy club. Anyways, a special legacy award that only your club and our zone got it, and only one other club in the whole district. So congratulations on that. President Barrett, Longview Pioneers.
No, but the whole process, everything. Maybe if I
Good evening, fellow Lions, and congratulations to your 50th years, the 50 years at Wahkiakum. It's just really awesome. Longview Pioneers, we have 18 members in attendance tonight, and that's including myself. We currently have 146 members. Although we've lost a few members in the last year, we continue to replace them with new ones. Pioneer is the home of the current G1 Zone Chair, Doug Harvey, past Council Chair, Hal Palmer. As you know, Hal attended the International Convention in Japan this year and in hopes of being elected as International Director. This should become a reality next year in Chicago, right? Right. Most of our fundraising is complete. Projects include the Spirits of Longview Beer Garden, concessions on July 2nd through the 4th, and Thursday concerts at the park. Cowles County Fairgrounds, we do the grandstand area only. Unique Tin, Highlander Festival, recycling, Lions Mints, golf tourney, and sock hop. And this next month, in a couple of weeks, we'll be participating with Street of Screams, a Halloween community candy event for children as well. Donations include $4,000 to Palate Sight and Hearing Foundation, $2,000 scholarships to students from Mark Morris, R.A. Long, and LCC, including a vocational one from the Frank Brown Trust. We gave $1,000 to Boy Scout Troop 702. The Boy Scouts help us at the grandstand. We take our chuck wagon and sell concessions, and they take concessions into the grandstand and provide a lot of extra income for us by serving us that way. So we like to help them out by donating funds afterwards. We supported the Altrusa Celebration with a team, gave money to support the school garden project, that's the Longview School District, and adopted a mile of Coal Creek Road for cleanup. Our legacy project for this year will be the restoration of the Lions Shelter and with partners Monticello and Early Birds. And I do have a description of that process that's going on that I could hand a copy to Doug, but since he's the ad hoc committee chair, I think he's already got a copy. Pioneer Lions action plans to address the Centennial Celebration Challenge. For youth, we have several things. When you start making out a list, you realize how many things that you actually do for children. We sponsor kids races on the 4th of July. And that is free to anyone that wants to come and participate. It's old-fashioned races that we do in front of Valley Long High School. We financially support, as I mentioned before, the school garden. And that helps the youth learn how to grow plants and feed themselves. And just to mention this, they had a booth at the concerts in the park this summer and sold vegetarian pizzas. And some fellows just went, ugh, I'm not eating that. Everything that they served on that pizza was grown in the Longview School District garden. So they represented themselves very, very well. It was an excellent fundraiser for them. We also plan to provide more scholarships to local students as we can. Financially support Camp Leo this year. That is one thing that we have always done, but this year we've talked about it a little bit more. And so some of our events, we're going to try to focus on providing more funds for Camp Leo for young people that have diabetes. We also have brought in probably more often more students to assist us during our events, so that these are senior class students that are required with senior graduation hours for the community. So this year, at Street of Screams, we have contacted schools that The kids can come and put in hours and get credit for that. We had several high school students this summer at our concession stands helping us as well. So I'd say that that would be a great centennial project because we've increased that service. Hunger. We support and coordinate Walk and Knock Food Drive along with many others. We also support Salvation Army at Christmas and donate leftover food to the local charities. Also at the Street of Screens that is coming up, we always give the canned food that is collected to CAP. Vision support, Cowlitz County Sight and Hearing, and also the recycling, we'll do that for LERC. Environmental, we now adopt a road once a year, twice a year, 2 times a year we go out and clean a section up in Coal Creek. And I really enjoyed it. The first time I'd ever participated this year. And it seems kind of silly picking up garbage, but when you do it as a team, it turns out to be really fun. So, and that's it.
Thank you, President. I know you get to compare your findings out there on the things and surprises you find as you go along the road picking up stuff. It's really interesting. Next we'll hear from the Peninsula Club, Larry.
I don't think I need that. Currently we have 24 members, paid dues members. The things that we participate over the air is the beer garden, the kite festival, and thank you for the Longview people and Kelsey people come and help us out. It was a tremendous success this year. Thank you. Also, we do parking for the Rod Run. If you're not familiar with that, come and see the old cars at the Beach Springs location. Also, we do the perch service. We organize it, we man it, and I think this year the heaviest cost or gross weight was 135 pounds of perch, and I thought that was quite a few perches. I don't know what the heck they do with them. Anyway, things that we participate in course scholarship programs at the school. One of the things I'm really glad to be participating in is the carousel for the reading glasses. Thank you for the Longview people that have done that. We had it at the Ocean Park Library, and I think about $60 in donations for the month that we had it there. And then we transferred it down to the Wahkiakum Library. Now currently it's been raining. So it's getting around. Thank you for that idea. It was great. G9 Dogs program. We participate in that and give money to that organization. Back to clothes for the school kids, young schools, going to kids. We also do a food backpack program. There's 2 of us. There's one in Ocean Park and there's one in Long Beach. But currently we're giving meals, 3 meals a day for 2 days and weekends. Right now we're doing about 35 kids. And that's a lot of work. The organizer of that club is leading. He's going to Woodland, sort of thing. We're looking for help on that program. Currently we also participate in Boy Club. We also participate in the Blind Athletes organization. And we also do Long Beach and Ocean Park. I always said that backpack. We drive elderly citizens to the doctor. We're involved in the Head Start program. And also I solely person that does durable medical supplies for the community, and we get calls all from Bethel. I even got a call over to Astoria one day. But anyway, it's wheelchairs, and walkers, 4-wheel walkers, 2-wheel walkers, raised foot, and all kinds of stuff that they need. Also, We involved this year at the Head Start program with IBM for the Salmon Creek people. We have a little machine, we pointed at the eyes of the kids, yay or nay, and when they're nay, you have to get an eye examination. So anyway, thank you again for inviting us, and happy birthday, Wahkiakum, and we appreciate our time here. Thank you.
President Carroll, would you like to come up for Wahkiakum, please?
Oh, I talk loud. That's one of my best points. We gave 4 $500 scholarships to Wahkiakum and Maysville High School graduating seniors. And we also gave, we're catching up at the end of this past school year, and we had 4 senior students that we, because we honor a student of the month every month of the school year. And we were catching up at the end of the school year, and we had $425 awards that we gave. We worked 30 hours on paper recycling. We had our fireworks staff, the members spent 290 hours on this fundraiser, and we profited $3,600. We had the bingo food upstairs at the end of this year. We had 180 member hours, 25 non-member hours, and we profited $800. We did our frozen and fresh dairy sale, and $1,500 on that. We did our, we finished our community birthday calendar sale, and the orders have gone in. We've already sold 225 calendars, and we worked 130 hours, member hours on that. We have the glasses carousel right now. We will finish that this month. And it will be returned to the Community Foundation. We have 2 new members that are coming in tonight. All our international and multiple businesses are paid. We helped the screening band, yeah, just today. We helped the screening band at Albert Fair. And I think that's it.
Thank you for that. Invite your 2 new members up here. We'll do the induction.
Okay.
One tonight. Pass it to Governor Steve. Would you step forward as well? Carol?
While they're getting ready, the amount of hours has a dollar value of what I heard tonight of over $134,425.
We were cheap, though.
Yes.
We're not going to induct the new Lions for the Wahkiakum Club, which I think is extremely exciting.
This is fine. This is fine. I'll do this.
So I'm going to put this over to Ashley Governor Steve to start the process.
Our other new member is working tonight. That's why she's not here.
Well, the district governor is coming over next week.
Well, maybe we can get
He gave me a school. It wasn't my idea. But I would have done it if I thought of it.
This is how I answer those sorts of things. God made us all the height we are when we reach perfection. Some of us just got there a little quicker than others. So there. Well, Bill, here we are. It's the end of the program. We're it.
We're it, you're right.
So we have David, I guess, is here, and sponsor Brian. See if you want to give that to Brian. This one is for the no, there isn't. There isn't one. Have you got one?
Are you done, Steve?
Thank you very much for a good job there, Steve. Yes. Appreciate it. That's a quick one.
Meaningful. Organized.
Bill, we're a team.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay. Brian? Actually, no, you're going to be fine. We need you right next to him. And David?
Yeah.
We want to officially, Lions of all of the clubs here in the district, and particularly of Wahkiakum, want to express our pleasure at your presence. Membership in this club is a privilege. You are joining the world's largest service organization. That was discussed earlier by Hal, and past Council Chair Hal, and again by past District Governor Doug Hall. We're a group of more than 1,300,000 men and women around the world, 46,000 Lion clubs in 208 countries. Our history goes back to 1917, when Lions Clubs International was formed by a Chicago businessman named Melvin Jones. He believed that local business clubs should be working for the betterment of their communities and the world at large. That's why next year, in 2017, in Chicago, where it all started, we will be celebrating Lions Clubs, and we'll be celebrating 100 years. In 1925, the guest speaker at the Lions Convention was Helen Keller. And she challenged the members of Lions to become knights for the blind in the crusade against blindness. We're going to light a candle for you tonight as a way for us to ask for your dedication for serving in Wahkiakum Lions, okay? It's a flip top, Bill.
Thank you.
Way to go, buddy. But we're a team. We're a team. Our motto is "We serve." It perfectly exemplifies the dedication of people that are in need. If you look up here on the banner, you'll see a large letter L superimposed on a purple background with a gold ring which signifies unity and strength. On either side of the gold ring is a lion's head, one that looks back over past accomplishments, while the other looks ahead to the future. This candle now is lit on your behalf.
My turn.
Your turn.
Since you have expressed a desire to be a member of the Wahkiakum Lions, I now ask you to respond in my words with a simple "I do." Do you accept the membership in Wahkiakum Lions, knowing that you have encouraged to participate in all functions of the club?
I do.
Okay. To the best of your ability, will you abide by the Lions Code of Ethics, attend meetings, and contribute to the program to the best of your ability in the district and Lions International?
I do.
By the power invested in both of us, by Lions Clubs International, we now declare you an official member of the Wahkiakum Lions, and your sponsor will now present you with the Lions pin emblem with gratitude and membership.
David, you'll also notice that on the top of the pin it says Centennial. No other people in this room have that. So you're now officially part of the celebration for the Centennial of Lions, and it shows it on your pin. Here is your membership card. Be sure you sign it, and be sure you have your secretary sign it, or treasurer, excuse me. Your certificate of membership is here, which is good enough to put a frame around. We're too cheap to do it for you. And you too for being a sponsor, and you will get, later on, you'll get a pin unless you guys have one. I don't. Okay. Anyway, Lions, welcome to New York.
Thank you very much and good night.